Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the season finale and the series as a whole of She-Hulk. This is the new MCU show in Phase 4. Like a billion other things that Marvel has done in Phase 4, it is trying to do something new and different, and I think that She-Hulk really does nail it, especially in this finale with the fourth wall breaks and everything that it does in this finale. And I will say that of all the shows going on right now, you know, we have House of the Dragon, which I do think is the best show on TV right now. We have a whole different flavor of fantasy with Rings of Power, and then of course we have Andor, which is absolutely crushing it right now. And this show, for me at least, was the comfort show. It's a show that I can turn on every week that I can just have fun with. It maybe wasn't the one that I watched every single week at 1 a.m., but it was a show that I was always excited to watch. And when I did watch it, it's like, man, I should have watched it last night. I should have just been keeping up with the show as soon as it came out, because every time I watched it, I just had a big smile on my face and I had a great time with it. So we are going to be getting to spoilers for She-Hulk. So if you have not seen this series yet, I highly recommend it. Like I said, it is my comfort show. It was just so fun to watch. And now that it's over, you can binge it all. It'll be very easy, very short, simple 30-minute episodes, and I hope you guys have some fun with this show like I did. So let's just jump right into this finale with, of course, that fourth wall break. And I will say that there has been some criticisms for the fourth wall breaking throughout the show that was just basically saying that it felt inconsistent, and I would honestly disagree with that, because I always felt that whenever they did the fourth wall break, it was at the perfect moments, whether it was kind of point out, you know, the real world type of things, like the comments that are happening in our real world about this show, about a female superhero being a She-Hulk rather than a He-Hulk, and all those different comments that were just hitting the nail on the head, which is perfect commentary about how the reaction for this show was when this show was made months ago, because, you know, it takes a long time to make a show, and they just absolutely predicted all the reactions that the show is going to have. But also, you know, the fourth wall breaks in terms of that one episode at the beginning where it's basically saying, oh, this is the A and B plot converging, or even the simple things like, oh my gosh, it's finally Daredevil, he's here, or the wedding episode where it's like, oh, this is a pretty inconvenient time for this to be. It all felt consistently Jen Walters, and I think it was very consistent to the character and her personality. And in terms of this episode, that fourth wall break goes from, you know, that type of thing that we've seen before, you know, that fourth wall break, the just the funny ha-has that you are expecting from those sort of things, before it transforms into her actual superpower. Her actual ability is to break these fourth walls, whereas Bruce, you know, breaks down buildings. She literally breaks down the fourth wall, goes through Disney Plus, hops into Marvel Assembled, and goes to try to find Kevin. And that entire sequence is so great because, you know, this whole show has been leading, like, people have been complaining about the stakes of the show. Oh, it doesn't feel like the show has, you know, massive Marvel stakes that we've seen in every other show. But then when you have other shows like Moon Knight, for example, when that finale came out, everybody's complaining that it was a big CGI, you know, monster fight. And that's how every single show ends. WandaVision ended that way. You know, Falcon and Winter Soldier ended in that way. And now Moon Knight's ending in that way. Literally every single one of these shows, everybody has the exact same complaints for. And then in this show, they're complaining like, oh, where's the big build-up? Where's the whole, you know, it's going to have to build up to like a big fight. Like, where are all the fights? Why do the stakes feel so low in this thing? Because that's not what this show is trying to do. And once Jen gets to Kevin, which is an artificial intelligence robot that is, you know, creating these algorithms that is, you know, pumping out all these things that are close to perfect, some better than others, which is such a great commentary on, in terms of the criticisms of the MCU in general, and how it just feels like they're pumping up content, you know, just left and right, and it just feels like it's quality or quantity over quality now versus quality over quantity before. And so it kind of comments on all of that. And then when she says that this is not how our finale is going to go, because as things were happening, and as, you know, you found out that Todd was the one who created the intelligentsia, and he was, you know, the Hulk King, and then you have, you know, EMIL BLONSKY, you know, being tied into part of that too, because he runs this whole, you know, his little paradise that he's made for himself is kind of like a home base for intelligentsia, and you have all these things happening at once. You have the whole blood storyline of them trying to get She-Hulk's blood, and then Todd turns into a giant Hulk character who looked like a complete abomination. He looked just absolutely terrible in the best, funniest ways possible. It was just such a nightmare to see. And then she pauses it, jumps through Disney Plus, and changes the ending. She's like, okay, this is done. We don't need a big giant fight scene. We can get rid of his powers. You know, the Hulk bursts in. You always have that trope in, you know, female superhero movies, or in general, like female-led anything. You always have the male character coming to save the day, the damsel in distress. You know, I have that thing like, okay, we don't need the Hulk to come up here. He can just go away. We don't need him. We don't need EMIL to, you know, be the abomination, try to, you know, amend his, you know, consequences that way. He just needs to go back to prison. That's going to happen that way, and Jen gets to write her own ending. And I can already see it now. I feel like some people are going to say, oh, you know, She-Hulk, you know, she's abusing all these things and she's getting the easy way out, but that's She-Hulk. That's her abilities is to literally break this fourth wall. She's not taking the easy way out. She's learning her abilities and changing her world for the better because she can, because that is She-Hulk, that is her abilities. And I just love that they took that fourth wall thing and they really, explored it in this and just showed what the fourth wall breaking can do in the MCU and for this show and for this character in general, creating a finale that felt very satisfying for this show because, every episode had its own little fun thing, some better than others. Of course, you're going to have that with some shows, especially how this one felt as episodic as it did. My favorite episode probably now is a tie between this episode and last episode with the whole Daredevil thing. And she even says like, oh, let's bring Daredevil back just because I want to see him again. Not because it makes sense story-wise, but because she just wanted to see him. Because why not? And I love their relationship. I love their little back and forth that they had and the chemistry that they had, especially, in this episode when they're at the dinner scene with the whole family. That was so much fun, and that is just what I want to stress about this show, and my opinions on it is that it was just so much fun. You have to be really bitter to just, feel like, oh, even if it's not what you wanted, I can see somebody saying that, okay, the type of humor doesn't work for you, or, this and that, or you wanted something with big stakes, that's all fine. But if you're looking for the show that is a comedy, that is a procedural like they said it was from the very beginning, you're going to enjoy this show because they absolutely nailed what they were going for. And of course, you get the whole thing where, Kevin said that, the episode needs to end in a way that sets up for future installments with the Hulk character. And of course, you get Hulk coming back during that dinner scene saying, oh, he's brought his son Scar, which I know that ties into some World War Hulk stuff, the whole thing on Sakaar, having the child of Scar and having all these different things. I don't know that whole storyline. I haven't read that comic or anything like that. And I'm sure you'll find videos where it will explain those different things for you. And I'm probably going to watch one right now. But it's just like, of course they're going to throw that in there, even though Jen said, no, we're not going to do that. No, Kevin's still going to get his way. Kevin Feige knows what he's doing. I was kind of hoping we would see literally Kevin Feige, but, maybe he's just a bad actor. Maybe he's self-aware enough to not be that and to put a robot algorithm instead because that is the funnier choice. Because why not? This is just such a fun show. I really enjoyed it. I'm really going to miss watching the show week to week. Like I said, it was my comfort show, the kind of in-between of all the dramatic stuff that's happening in all the different shows. Same thing with Rick and Morty. That show just went on hiatus for a little while too. I'm out of comedies. Where's all my laughs going to go? Where's all my entertainment's going to go in terms of that when I'm not stressed about House of the Dragon or stressed about Andor because that show is so stressful, and stressed about Rings of Power because of the audience reception. All these different things is stressing me out. I just want a simple show like this, and I think it absolutely nailed what it was trying to do. And also, Tatiana Maslany, everybody has already said it, she is perfect as She-Hulk. And even if you didn't enjoy this show, I think we can all agree that we're all excited to see her character in future installments on the big screen, because she even got excited about that. She's like, oh, are you going to see me next on the big screen? And then Kevin's like, no, and she gets all sad. But no, I want to see her on the big screen. I want to see whatever she's in next, whether it's the Daredevil show, because I'm sure they're going to have her in it, because it's like, okay, we're going to borrow you for a couple episodes in this. We're going to have her, go lend over to a couple episodes of his show as well. It's like a give and take type of thing. So I'm sure we're going to see She-Hulk at least in Daredevil, probably, Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty or whatever she's going to pop up in next. I cannot wait to see more of this character, and it was just so much fun. So those are my thoughts on She-Hulk. I know some episodes are better than others. How would you rank the episodes, and how would you rank this among the other MCU shows? I think this is probably smack dab in the middle. I really enjoyed this. This probably won't be one that I'll, try to rewatch too often. Maybe certain episodes I'll rewatch pretty often. I think the episodes in general were kind of hit and miss in terms of how much I enjoyed them, but it was always a good time in terms of a laugh every single week, and I am going to miss the show deeply. So what do you guys think of this thing? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you guys aren't subscribed already, make sure you guys do subscribe to check out videos like my Terrifier 2 review, which is doing really well right now on the channel. I also reviewed The Midnight Club, which is a new show on Netflix, and I will be reviewing Halloween Ends, which I actually just watched that before I came home to watch She-Hulk, and let me say, that was a movie. We'll get into that in that review, so definitely subscribe to my channel to see more reviews just like that. So thanks everybody for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next one.